Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we are going to be going over the Marvel Avengers video game open beta. Now I fortunately enough got access to play it through Steam over the weekend, and there are some things that I did enjoy and some things that I kind of want to touch base on that maybe need to be fixed or just aren't going to work for me personally. But yeah, definitely leave your comments down below on what you think of it. And before we get started, I want to ask you guys to follow all the social links down in the description below. There should be a YouTube link, a Twitch link, or no, a Twitter link, a Twitch link, and then a TikTok link. So definitely check those out. I post content on all three of those, and yeah, you might enjoy it. So basically, getting started. Here's the things that basically the game got right for me, at least. Now, in terms of the comic book universes of whether it be DC or Marvel, I basically mainly got into them through the cinematic universes of those respected properties. Now, when it comes to Marvel, obviously I'm pretty young. I'll be 20 this year, so I was originally introduced to the MCU through like the old Spider-Man movies, and those sorts of things. Now, with that being said, I do still enjoy reading the comic books as of lately, especially the new, I guess, like spin-off or reboots of the respective comic book series. Like, I like the new Spider-Man comic. I've been reading the new Flash comic, the new Batman comic, things of that sort. So when it comes to the story of a lot of the events that happen within the respected universes, obviously there's going to be adaptations and things like that within video games. I get it, movies, whatever. But basically something that I feel like Marvel's Avengers got right, and I hope that a lot of you guys can back me on this, is that the story seems very compelling. Now, the story in the beta, unfortunately, was kind of all over the place, and they didn't really give much of it. So basically, you played the very beginning sequence, which you guys see now. You get to play as Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and then Black Widow. After all this happens, basically you guys have seen it in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer for the game. Basically, everyone disowns the Avengers. They kind of fall apart. Cap is now dead because he went down with the shield ship. I don't know exactly what it's called, the helicarrier. But yeah, so they're kind of disbanded, and then the girl, which I don't know what her superhero name is, but she is then introduced after they fall apart. They've been kind of disowned for a few years. Or not a few years, I think it's a couple months afterwards. Then she comes back. She's like, yo, let's get the team back together. They go back to the crashed helicarrier. You get the team together, and that's basically it. Like, there's no story mission to go get the extra people. So when you're reassembling the Avengers, you start out with the Hulk and then her, and then basically in the beta, you literally just, once you got far enough, or once you completed the storyline for that, you automatically just got Iron Man and Black Widow for free. Like, you didn't have to do an extra story mission. And I guess from their standpoint, or the dev's standpoint, I get it. Like, you don't want to give away too much of the game, but at the same time, like, if you're not even gonna throw the story aspects in for those two characters, and just kind of be like, here, you go ahead and play with them while the beta is open. And in that sense, I kind of get it. I respect it. But yeah, it was kind of just like a way for you to kind of get into the not so interesting part of the game, which was literally there was no story after that. You played maybe the first like hour-ish, and then once you were finally able to play co-op with people, basically the gameplay was already over in terms of like the story mode. All the missions that you could do from that point on was literally just gear leveling, and that seemed like it. Like, there didn't seem like a story plot. And maybe if you guys have more of an insight or you play the beta, or you've seen people play the beta, maybe you can leave comments down below on maybe I'm missing some stuff, but I seemed like in that standpoint, it was kind of very dull. And you know, I get it. Apart from the story, there has to be like some sort of progression system, and the way that they're taking it is through the gear. There's like a item score or a gear score that you get every time you get a new item, and then it levels up your average gear score. Oh, okay. And then well, based upon that, that lets you know what missions you can do and so on and so forth. But it seemed very, very tedious, and you know, as someone who respects comics and the cinematic universes, and I love the stories and the characters, I enjoyed that. But at the same time, like, why would you have an item progression system in a story-based game when, I don't know, the best part about the game is the character stories? And especially in a game with like the Avengers, like, you kind of get to play through all these different characters, and you get to, you know, understand their characters a little bit more, their backstory. Well, not their backstory, but how they got from the helicarrier crash to, you know, where they are currently, and while they're trying to get a respected view back in the public's eye. And it just seems like, for me, like, having the gear score system really isn't necessary. Like, I get cosmetics and things like that, but it kind of hampers to the story, because there might be certain points in the game where, say, you do a mission that has an 11 gear score, and then in order to do the next mission you have to have a 15 gear score, and well, when you did that mission you didn't get any gear that dropped, so now you have to do these tedious side missions until you get 2 or 3 pieces of gear to level up your average. I don't know, it just seems like kind of a tedious thing. Definitely let me know what you guys think about it. But yeah, in terms of the game and the gameplay, again, the story was really good. What little tiny piece of it that we got, that we've already seen, of course, but it was fun to play. It was fun to try out the different characters and like their abilities and things like that. I'm definitely excited when they release the game and maybe put out DLC or things like that with new characters. I think that would be really, really cool. But for me, I would say that it's probably not worth the money. And I don't say that as in like, oh, the game is really bad. I say that as in like, for me to spend money, especially $60 on a game, I kind of have this mentality that I learned from someone else a few years ago, which is, if you spend $60 on a game, you are expected to play the game for 60 hours. So every dollar that you spend is 1 hour of the game. So if you spend $20 on a game, but you're not going to put 20 hours into it, it's not really worth the money. And I respect that a lot, because I used to pre-order games left and right when they were in early access. You know, such games like DayZ, so far, 7 Days to Die, things like this that like never really took off, and the devs kind of gave up on them. Now, obviously, DayZ now is a lot better, but at this point, it's not even worth playing because it was dead for so long. But my point is that basically, when it comes to Marvel's Avengers, I enjoy the character story. I would get it just for the story, but I have to know that it is very good. So probably starting out when the game first releases, I'm probably not going to buy it. I probably won't get it until it's on sale. Now, granted, if there's some people that I'm friends with that want me to get it, I probably will, just to play with them. Maybe do YouTube or stream it or whatever. But yeah, now, apart from that, the combat in the game, I didn't experience too much of it. Now, there are skills that you can upgrade when you like leveled up, but for me, okay, so let's just take a step back for a second. So each character that you play has a different leveling system. Well, the same has a different, oh man, how do I put this? Each character that you play has its own leveling system. There you go. So Starting out, characters will be obviously level 1 or 0, something like that, and then you level it up through progression. Every level you get a skill point, and then the skill points you can put into their respective skill trees. Now, for me, it didn't seem like there was a whole bunch of options when it came to upgrading the skills. Now, obviously this could have been just because it was released, like it was just a beta build, so they didn't want to give you all the skills that were released, but the ones that they gave you, they seemed kind of meh. And honestly, a lot of them aren't really used. Now, later game, when you actually progress to the story and the actual release, it might be a bit different where, you know, you have to use like certain abilities for certain people, things like that. But for the most part, playing through the beta, it was basically just left click everything. Now, with me being an FPS person, I enjoyed playing Black Widow a lot. I didn't really play too much with Iron Man or with the Hulk, just because the Hulk I don't like melee combat, so that's kind of out. And we didn't unlock Thor, but yeah, so I don't know, I kind of just want to get your guys' opinion and kind of let you guys see what the game is about, kind of give my input on it and whether or not you should buy it. But for me, I would say probably overall I would probably give the game like a 6 to 7 out of 10 for the beta. Just because, you know, there was a lot of stuff that kind of seemed bland. Like, the skill trees were kind of just meh. The story, there really wasn't any, although the little piece that we got was very, very... it was very, very interesting and very, very worth the time. But yeah, I definitely want to see your guys' comments, your thoughts down in the comment section below. Definitely check out all the links in the description as well. But with that being said, please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.